Here are the tools and supplies you're going to need to make these cornstalks. Alright, so for these cornstalks, we're going to be making 3 different leaf sizes. 1.5 feet, 2.5 feet, and 3.5 feet. And that's a little preview of what it's going to look like. So getting started, we're going to be unwinding some 16 gauge wire. And it is thicker, just so you can pose the leaves and make them in the shape that you want them. And bend them to the way that you want them to look. And next you're going to be straightening out the wire. So kind of just working in the opposite direction with your fingers, opposite to the way that they bend naturally. Next you're going to measure the length of that wire to that size that you want. So for example, in this one I'm doing about 42 inches, so that's the largest leaf size. And then cut it with some wire cutters or pliers. Now you're going to use some 2-inch thick masking tape, or as close as you can get to 2 inches, and basically make it 6 inches longer than your wire. And you're doing that because you want to leave a 3-inch gap on either side, because that's going to be the point of our leaf, and that's going to be also the other side's going to be the part that we attach to the cornstalk. So you can see right there I left a 3-inch gap on the end where I'm touching right there with my hand. I'm kind of using it as a guide. Now you're going to do 2 more right above that. And you're overlapping about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. And I'm not making that overlap too big because these are meant to be fillers in the back of my Halloween setup that I'm doing. So if you wanted a little bit more narrow of leaves, then you could make that overlap a little bit thicker. Then you're going to follow that same exact process and make 3 more strips, but separate from our previous ones. Now you're going to carefully peel up your first set of strips and lay it on its non-sticky side. Now get your wire strip from earlier and put it in the middle of that tape. Keeping in mind the 3 inches on either side, you want it right in the middle. This is the perfect time to fix your wire, so to straighten it out, if there's any parts that are sticking up a lot, you can push them down, and even if there's a little curvature in it, it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're trying to make natural things, so if it has a little bit of grooves and stuff like that, that's good. Now you're going to take your second strip and center it above your bottom one, and basically you're going to be sandwiching that wire in between the 2 layers of tape. And you'll follow that same process for the other 2 sizes. So right here I'm doing the medium size, and here's the small one. If you have any of these pieces of overlap on the side, you can just fold them over so the sticky part isn't showing. So now we're going to fold over one of the ends, and we're going to cut it at a slope so that when it's unfolded it has like a pointed end. Then go ahead and give it a good crunch. So you're just going to be squishing the tape to kind of make those imperfections that the leaves have, the cornstalks. So you don't want it to be perfect. You want to just scrunch it up and crush it between your hands and just make it a little uneven. And you can bend it and just give it some curves. So kind of randomly twist it and manipulate that wire to give you a more organic shape. And we have something like that. So next you're going to take a bamboo stick and you're going to put some masking tape all along the length of that and basically just center it, because we're going to wrap it around and squeeze the tape unevenly so we can have that more natural look to the stem. And don't forget to leave a little bit with no tape on the bottom if you plan on sticking it in the ground. Alright, so now we're going to assemble it, and I just stuck mine inside of a vase and put some paper inside of it to give it something to stand up in. But you can use whatever you have that will help you keep it standing upright. Take your largest leaf and kind of center it in front of the pole like I'm doing there, and just overlap one side, kind of pinch it, and basically you're going to be wrapping it around the pole, and you're going to secure that bottom piece with tape. Just make sure that a little bit of your wire is inside of that fold, because you want the wire to be pushed up against the pole and that be adhered to it, so that way you can have some structure to your leaf. What I did with some of them is you can see that I left the adhesive part on one of the ends, and that's the part that I used to stick to the pole. So the part that you cut off, you want it to be not the part that has tape exposed, if you have any like that. And you're just going to repeat that process for your second leaf and just tape that down right above your first leaf. And I just trim the excess to make it look like a baby leaf. Now, if that happens in nature, I don't know, but I just went with whatever I thought looked good. Next, I jumped to the medium-sized leaves, and basically I'm just alternating the position that the leaves are, and I kind of really just threw them any way that I wanted, not really going in any specific order. A trick that I found was kind of taking the leaf and using your hand and doing the motion that I'm doing here, so kind of pushing forward with my thumbs and holding the rest of the leaf in my palms to give it kind of a more curved look, which you'll see here. So jump into the last bit. It's basically rinse and repeat. So you're doing the same exact thing that you did on the previous ones, and you can see my second set of leaves right below it. I put those pretty even with each other, so kind of alternating the levels of the leaves, so not doing all of them exactly like those, and basically making them at different heights. So you can make them together like I did on the second set, and do them alternating, so they're not perfectly in line with each other. I feel like that gives a little bit more of a natural look. And ta-da! This is the final product. And if you like this video, stay tuned, because I'm going to be posting more DIY videos soon.